Hey, it's Mo Hashim with Flat Fee Landlord Property Management. In this video, I'm going to go over the top 5 reasons why every rental property owner needs to have a property manager this year. Alright, so if the past year has taught us anything, it's to expect the unexpected. Reason number 1, you need a property manager this year. Eviction moratoriums and rent collections. The past year has probably been one of the worst in the industry when it comes to rent collections. Obviously, with everybody losing their jobs because of this pandemic, it has been difficult for a lot of really good tenants to make sure they keep up with their rent payments. And more, we're getting people reach out to our property management company to try to help them because they were managing the property themselves, but now they have no idea what to do because of all of the laws that are coming out on the local, state, and federal level. You got to know what you're doing as a landlord if you are dealing with a tenant that has an issue paying rent. Your property manager is an expert at that. Now, we're not legal professionals by all means, but at the end of the day, we know how to navigate through the eviction process during this time, and we know how to take care of those situations. Reason number 2, finding a well-qualified tenant. In my opinion, this is the most important part of the rental process. If you find yourself a great tenant, you are going to love having a rental property. However, if you find yourself a bad tenant and you don't take the proper steps to qualify that tenant before you have them sign a lease and move in, you are going to hate your life as a landlord. We've been doing this for so many years. We know exactly all the steps to vet, run background checks, and make sure we find the perfect tenant for your property. Now, this is even more important these days because of all the tenants that are getting evicted and moving out of their old properties. Well, they still got to live somewhere. And if you're not careful and you don't screen that tenant the right way, you may be basically inheriting somebody else's problem. So make sure, if you're not a pro at vetting and finding tenants for rental properties, make sure you hire somebody that is, because if you don't, you're going to pay for it in the long run. Reason number 3, making sure your property gets the maximum market rents. Listen, you probably do have a day job and you're an expert in your field. But when it comes to setting rental rates, who knows if you're getting the right amount of money for your rental property. You don't want to be leaving money on the table when you're renting out a property, and at the same time, you don't want to overshoot with your rental price and risk having that property sit vacant over a long period of time because you're asking too much. Your local property manager knows exactly what the sweet spot is for your rental property when it comes to the price. We go through and we run a complete market analysis based on comps, and we come up with a price that's going to give you the highest amount of rental proceeds in the shortest amount of time. Reason number 4, your time should be worth more than 51 cents an hour. That's right, you heard me right, 51 cents an hour. Our property management fees start at $89 a month. When you do the math, that comes out to about 51 cents an hour to provide you with 24/7, 365 coverage in the event something happens to your property or your tenant has an issue. Now, we're able to do that because we have economies of scale. Obviously, your local property manager will be a dedicated property manager for you and your property, but it's not going to be the only property we manage. And that's how we're able to provide world-class service at an affordable price. Now, if you don't have that many properties, guess what? That's what you're going to be working for. If you only have one rental property, you're probably going to be working for 51 cents an hour, and at the end of the day, you need to justify whether that's worth it or not. Reason number 5, this has become more and more of an issue these days because of the big players that are entering the single-family rental market. There are giant conglomerate companies that are buying properties for the past several years and renting them out themselves. Some of these companies include Progress Residential, American Homes for Rent. These are professional real estate investment companies with professional property management companies attached to it. Now, they have the scale to provide world service. I just talked about scale in step number 4. If you don't have that scale, then you're going to be struggling to compete with finding those great tenants I talked about in step number 2. So, in order for you to attract the best tenants, you got to make sure you have all the tools to do so. And a lot of times when people are moving new to an area or finding a new place to live, they're looking at online reviews, they're looking at your rental process, they look how efficient you are at responding. And if you have a day job and you're not fully dedicated to making sure all those things are optimized and working at a high level, then that prospective tenant is just going to move on to somebody else's property that is. So in order for you to compete, you use a property management company like Flat Fee Landlord that has the scale, that already has the systems and processes in place to make sure we are attracting high value tenants to come in, take care of your property, and also pay their rent on time. If you want to learn more about our property management services or ready to get started, go to our website at flatfeelandlord.com, fill out the form, and one of our local professionals will give you a call. Also, you can get a copy of our Prospective Landlord Handbook. This goes over in detail all of our services and any costs associated with that. We really look forward to serving you.